Do you stream on a Roku, a Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app. Watch Action News live.
And the big story on Action News.
Plus special programming, breaking news, and severe weather updates.
Tremendous amounts of rain.
Always on. Always the news team you trust. Watch 6ABC 24/7 on your streaming device. Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome to Women to Watch. This week I have the pleasure to introduce Emily Soloby, founder and CEO of Juno Jones Safety Boots, stylish safety boots that fit women's feet, and host of her own podcast, Hazard Girls. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thank you, Cheri. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I've been excited to speak with you. You've done some outside of the box thinking over the years, and you have always been an advocate for women and children dating back to your college days. Please tell us a little bit about your background and your love for shoes.
Absolutely. Well, I started out in college as a women's studies major, and I was an advocate for domestic violence victims at that time. I later went on to law school, and I worked at legal services doing women's family law. And so it was sort of always my path. But at the same time, I've always loved shoes. And I've enjoyed wearing them over the years and even taking classes and learning how to make them by hand.
Very interesting. So shoes are in your soul.
Yes, and I have to mention that my great grandfather was a shoemaker in Italy. But
oh, wow, that's very cool. What a great connection. In 2009, you and your husband, Ryan, took a small truck and heavy equipment safety training firm and grew it into a national business. And this was eye-opening for you as an executive, going from office meetings to construction sites and wanting to be both comfortable, safe, and fashionable. You needed a shoe to fit the different scenarios. Tell us how Juno Jones came to be, and the great name Juno Jones was, how did you come up with Juno Jones?
Well, exactly what you said. I would be running from my office to job sites and I would be around all the heavy equipment. And I knew I had to wear safety boots, but what was out there wasn't fitting my feet properly. And not only that, but it looked terrible. I'd be dressed in my executive clothing and wearing clunky safety boots that made me look like I was in my dad's safety boots. So I knew there had to be a way. And I started talking to women in the trucking industry, but then in all kinds of industries, saw the gap in the market. And with the support behind me of all these different women and organizations, we launched Juno Jones. Now, Juno Jones, the name Juno Jones, as you asked me, is a fictional character that I created. It's the name Juno Jones is to represent the modern woman who is adventurous, not afraid to try new things and be out there in a male populated field.
Yeah, I just picture a really great looking gal with a cape on and her perfect work boots or flying boots.
I love it. The cape. Exactly. It's a superhero name, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. This is wonderful. You are giving women options, acknowledging their needs in the construction, trucking, and real estate industries and more. It's a terrible feeling to be the focus of others because of something you're wearing. I experienced it in the culinary world when we were talking earlier. It made me think of back when I started in kitchens. And I think it's still the same. I could be wrong, but the uniforms that we got, that we received when we started at the Culinary Institute, it was the same pants and the same jackets that the men wore. And believe it or not, women are not the same shape as men, especially in the hip area and chest area. So it was, you just stick out like a sore thumb. And not to mention kitchens and manufacturing companies and warehouses. When the woman comes in, it wasn't unusual for men to kind of like look over and laugh at them because they knew that they felt uncomfortable. It was terrible. And the clothes being baggy and the shoes being too big are a hazard. Getting caught up in equipment, dangerous equipment or whatever. You could never have baggy sleeves when you worked in the kitchen, when you had all those sharp blades around and different things running. So anyway, you were working on Juno Jones just before COVID hit. How did you actually get the funds to get started and launch the company?
Well, we launched on Kickstarter, which is a platform online where you tell your story, you explain what it is you're doing, and backers can come in and basically pre-buy what you're selling. So people come in and buy a pair of boots, even though they know they might never get it, or they might get it in 6 months. With us, we knew we were going to be producing these boots. We had everything lined up, ready to go. So our backers came in excited to back us, excited someone was doing something for them, supporting us as a community and coming together. And that's how we did it. We launched on Kickstarter, and it was that first day that we launched that I think it was 29 hours later we funded. So we definitely had the backing right away.
Clearly there was a need. And then what happened during COVID? Because you got started right before COVID. And then obviously manufacturing and all of the different things that you needed to make the boots, there were no resources.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, so what happened was it was February 11th when we launched, which is International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And everybody remembers it was around mid-March when COVID really started to hit with things closing down. So we were still in the middle of our campaign. We hadn't finished it yet, but we knew we had funded. So all of our backers, even though COVID hit and people were losing their jobs and trying to watch their money, they stayed with us. No one canceled. Everyone, kept with it. And we were able to produce the boots. But like you mentioned, COVID did create some problems as far as our factory shut down for 6 months. People were getting sick. And whenever someone gets sick, everything shuts down on the production line because they don't want to spread it, of course. So it took a little while, but in the meantime, while our backers so patiently waited, our customers were so excited, we launched our podcast. So that's when we launched the Hazard Girls podcast.
Oh, that's great. Good timing and a good idea to keep people engaged.
Yes.
So you're not resolving just fashion issues. You're resolving a lot of issues that women have in all of these different industries. And I love your mission, empowering women to have the confidence to enter the industries, stay in the jobs, and once they're there, rise above and kick out those glass ceilings.
Absolutely.
And I know that diversity initiatives right now are helping, but it's more than just diversity. This is having the tools to make the industry standards complete and leveling the playing fields. So what's next in your line of safety footwear?
Well, we are here with women every step of the way as they enter all of these different industries. That's our goal. So right now we're very focused on, a standard safety boot with puncture resistant midsole, steel toes or composite toes, and all kinds of features like that. But we are looking to expand into other industries as well, because we want women to have options in all industries across the board.
Sure. So let's talk about your goal of making connections with the personal protective equipment buyers. How do you go about doing that? And what can other people listening to this do to help you out?
Well, many of our customers are people that go onto our website at junojones.com and buy the boots. But a lot of our customers are actually companies, because companies provide stipends to a lot of their workers to buy boots each year. Sure. So our goal is to get in contact with as many companies as we can to get set up in their systems as a vendor, so that their employees will have that option to buy Juno Jones boots.
So you have the Hazard Girls podcast, and then you're involved with a number of different organizations advocating for women. And then you also have a mobile museum that travels the U.S. and is sponsored by Ashton Thompson. Ashton is a race car driver. Can you tell us a little bit about that initiative?
So we have a couple of different things that you're talking about there. The mobile museum is with the Women in Trucking organization. And that it's called the Whitney. So it's the Women in Trucking Whitney, and it travels around the country and with Kelly Lynn, and she shares all about women's careers in trucking and in the trucking industry. That's one thing that we're doing. And then you also mentioned we are sponsoring Ashton Thompson, who is a race car driver, who is creating her own team of all women and backed by all women businesses, all women-owned businesses.
Wonderful. I think that's fantastic. So, and on that note, before we run out of time, I want to give another big shout out for you to Crew. Crew are the commercial real estate women who are listening. There is a Greater Philadelphia branch, and it is also, it's a very strong and supportive organization, and their network globally is over 10,000 members. and includes so many industries that could use your Juno safety boots. I mean,
Yes.
it's architects, it's builders, it's construction sites, it's just real estate women, commercial real estate women that are going from site to site, showing people different properties. Emily, unfortunately, we are out of time. Is there anything else you want to tell us a little bit before I send off our parting words here?
We just want to empower women to advance in these industries, to enter these industries, to get involved. Don't be intimidated by the fact that a lot of men work there. That's why we like to say male populated and not male dominated. Just because there are a lot of men there, that doesn't mean they have to dominate. You can do it too.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time and for supporting women in the industries everywhere.
Thank you so much, Cheri. It's been a lot of fun.
Sure. For more information about how to put your best foot forward, Emily Juno Jones, safety boots, how to order for yourself or your company, go to junojones.com or email Emily at junojonesshoes.com. Thank you again. Stay tuned. Sue will be right back to speak with Watch Team member Madeline Bell, CEO of Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Ladies, keep living your dreams.